Letter from James A. Lyon to Mississippi Governor Charles Clark, January 17, 1865, from the Civil War and Reconstruction Governors of Mississippi Project at cwrgm.org. Columbus, Mississippi, January 17, 1865. To His Excellency, Governor Charles Clark of Mississippi. My dear Sir, I regret that such was the disturbed and uncertain state of the trains that I was prevented from attending the meeting of the Educational Commissioners at Jackson on the 4th of January, of which you were pleased to appoint me one. It was my full purpose to have attended the meeting and had made all my arrangements with that view, but was prevented only by the cause mentioned. The object contemplated by the act of the legislature authorizing you to appoint the commissioners is one of the greatest importance. There is no evil incident to the present calamitous war greater than that of the frustration of the education of the male youth of our land. A generation is soon to be introduced upon the great stage of action who will not only control the elections, but fill all our civil offices, from the highest to the lowest, who will be uneducated in all that belongs to academical instruction, but deeply versed in the love of violence and arbitrary power. The next generation of lawyers, doctors, politicians, and preachers, if indeed there be such a class left, will be, for the most part, destitute of mental culture, such as is obtained in literary institutions. The object, therefore, which you seem to have so much at heart, is indeed a great and philanthropic one, and what little assistance I can render you in this most important enterprise will be most cheerfully given. I am, Sir, very respectfully, your obedient servant, James A. Lyon. P.S. I take the liberty to send you my report on the subject of slavery and the duties growing out of the relations, which I made to the General Assembly of the Presbyterian Church, which met in Columbia, South Carolina, in May 1863. This committee, of which I had the honor to be made chairman, was appointed by the Assembly, which met in Augusta, Georgia, in December 1861. You will do me a favor if you will read the report. It has been very favorably received by the political as well as by the religious public. Its sentiments have been endorsed by some of our ablest political papers, as well as by some of the longest and most influential religious denominations in the South. During the meeting of the legislature in this place, I distributed a few copies to some of the members of that body, who expressed themselves well pleased with the positions therein advocated and recommended. One of them, the Honorable Mr. Luckett, said if the meeting of the body had not been so near its adjournment, he would have introduced a bill, embodying some of the positions of the report. I drew up the report with the counsel and assistance of some of the ablest statesmen and largest slaveholders in the land, amongst whom I may mention the Honorable George R. Clayton and Honorable Judge Field of this state, and the Honorable G. J. S. Walker, and the Honorable Judge Bliss of Alabama. If you can spare the time, I would be much obliged if you will give the pamphlet a careful reading. Perhaps it may accord with your judgment to make some recommendations of reforms on the subject to the legislature. I am clearly satisfied that slavery is a Bible institution, but at the same time I am equally clear that there are certain practical abuses not necessary to its existence, but contrary to the Word of God, and detrimental to the best interests of slavery itself, as I think I have shown in the pamphlet. Let us reform those confessed abuses and raise it up to the Bible standard, and then we may expect the favor of God and defy the opposition of the world. Or should the favor of circumstances compel, by gradual emancipation, to free the slaves, the reform recommended in the pamphlet will qualify them the better to become what nature designs them to be, our hired servants, those nominally and legally free. Please pardon the liberty I have taken, and believe yours, etc., James A. Lyon. Music credit to composer Punch Deck, song Ethereal. License Creative Commons BY 3.0 at creativecommons.org. Music powered by Breaking Copyright at breakingcopyright.com.